In this video, we're going to go from this image that we have here to this artistic image here. Welcome to today's video. These tutorials are aimed at helping people starting out in Photoshop. So I try to make them as user-friendly as possible. Remember, you can download the photos we are working on in the description box below. So, in today's video tutorial, we're going to be looking at blend modes. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to get rid of these layers so we can start at the same point. So go ahead and download the videos from the description box. We've got clock, we've got this sand texture, and we've got this wall texture. So what I'm going to do with the wall texture is I'm going to go Command and A, and this gets the marching ants go all the way around the edge. I'm going to go Command and C to copy it. I'm going to come back to my clock layer, and I'm going to go Command and V. And what this has done is it has put the textured layer down here on top of the background layer. So I'm going to label my layers. I'm going to call this wall. I'm going to double click in here. Oh, I'm going to double click in here, and I'm going to call my lower layer clock. Now at the moment, the wall layer is on top of the clock layer. We know that by hiding and revealing the eyeball here. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that the wall layer is active by clicking it up here. And I want to see how I can interact with the layer below. Now obviously we have the opacity slider over here, so it's possible to reduce the opacity, and as we do that we can see through the wall layer down to the clock layer below. So that's one way of interacting with the layer below. A much better way is using blend modes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this down here, and this gives us the different blend modes which are available to us. So if I were to go dissolve, we can't see anything in there until we come and reduce our opacity slightly, and as we see that, it is dissolving the upper layer into the layer below. I'm going to bring my opacity back to 100, and I'm going to click my blend modes again, and I'm going to introduce you to the darken blend modes. So this is a section of blend modes which is to do with darkening the overall image, and really the ones that we use most often are darken and multiply. Multiply is my personal favorite. I ended up using it all the time. So in this instance, we've got a very white colored image with a little bit of darkness in it, the clock, and these darken blend modes, as we scroll down, they will work very well with this light colored clock image. Okay? So, and as we just mouse up and down, it will change to the darken blend modes. Multiply takes the pixels on the top layer and the bottom layer and multiplies them together to make a darker image. Below that we have the lighten blend modes, and what this is doing is seeking to lighten the overall image by getting the light layers, the lighter pixels from the upper layer, and blending them with the pixels from the lower layer. So in this instance, now what we have is we have a whole lot of texture on the hand and on the clock, but not on the white background. Likewise with screen, exactly as before, the upper two are the most popular in the darken section. Lighten and screen are the most popular or most used in the lighten section. So here we can see we're maintaining the overall lightness of the image by going to screen, and it's only the clock which is darkened. Just so that you know, this section of blend modes in the lighten section work really well if you've got a darker image. So they're not working as well in this lighter image. So as we go to overlay and soft light, so these are looking very good, and indeed what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue to scroll down. It's gone off the page. I'm going to scroll down to find other blend modes here. So what I'm actually going to go down to is I'm going to go to, mine's gone off the page, but I'm going to go down to difference, which has actually made a really interesting image for me here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just hide the wall layer so we can return back to our clock layer, and so now we can see the next step that we're going to do. So the next step will be to come up to my sand image, which I opened earlier, and I need to select this by going Command and A and Command and C to copy. So now I've copied that. I'm going to go back to my clock layer, and I'm going to go Command and V to paste it over the top, and now we have a third layer appearing here. I'm always like to rename my layers, so I'm going to double click this and call this sand. Now at the moment it's not occupying the entire page, because it's a portrait image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the size of this by going Command and T, and grab a corner and just increase the size until it's all the way over on that side. I'm going to go Command and minus. This is zoomed out a little bit. I'm going to grab the other side and I'm going to increase it so it occupies the whole space. Once I've done that, I'm happy with my change. I need to apply this transform by hitting the tick up here or pressing enter. I'm going to go Command and plus to zoom back into my image. Okay, so exactly as before, if I hide my sand layer, I've got the clock layer below, and I'm thinking, how can my sand layer interact with my clock layer below? So I need to ensure that my sand layer is active by clicking it and making sure that it's lighter gray. And I need to view my sand layer by clicking the eyeball in here. Exactly as before, I'm going to get my blend modes. This time what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this palette and put it over here. And now we can see when I open up the blend modes, we'll be able to see it much better. Okay, so I'm on my layer, I click my blend modes here, exactly as before, we can go to darken, and this looks really good because what this is doing is this is bringing the darker pixels from the layer below and interacting with the layer above. And like I said, darken and multiply are normally very popular ones, so those work really nicely indeed. And I'm going to scroll through all the darken ones into the lighten ones. Lighten and screen are very popular. And now these ones are getting much more creative as we continue to come down the blend modes. Difference is very, very interesting. And you can just keep going like that. Now we can see how these color ones, how they interact with, as the sand layer is a colored image, how it interacts with the black and white image below. I happen to like difference here. I think this is kind of cool, very edgy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my wall layer from below. And now we've got a very interesting, edgy, artistic image. If you found this video useful, please give it a like for the YouTube algorithm. That way, YouTube will show it to others who are looking to master Photoshop. Thanks for watching and see you next time.